Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Jimmy Palumbo Show. That's right. Show number 159. Show number one, Ed McGlasson. Venditti definitely just drove off the road right there. Also, show number one, Damaso Garcia. See if you remember that Yankee from back in the day. Okay, clearly Dave's 12 years old, doesn't remember. I should just talk to your son, Miles. And I'm coming, of course, from downtown Mahwah, New Jersey, from the Average Dining Room Studios, and, of course, across the glass, your friend and mine, Dave Sturcio, coming to you from downtown Mattawan at the Chop Sports Media Wrestling Capital Tiki Bar of the world. Dave Sturcio, is this any business? I think Dave owns a car wash. He owns a gas station.
I gotta launder this money somehow, dude. I gotta figure out.
And all this is generating in that 3-figure salary we talked about before the telecast. But one of these things should pop, and then Dave will no longer do the show because he won't give a fuck.
I'm waiting for that day.
Dave Sturcio, what's going on, man?
I'm a little disappointed in you, Jimmy. You know, the New York Yankees are 5-0, and you're wearing a Rutgers baseball shirt.
Okay, now, see, this is why the veteran Jimmy Palumbo's been in the league a while, 8 teams in 9 years. I wore the Yankee stuff last week, and I thought, you know what? This is a Rutgers baseball shirt. Clearly, later on in the show, we're going to discuss the New York Yankees. I decided to stick with the 706 because Johnny Trinnell, the greatest softball player of all time, and the Rutgers baseball shirt, just to add a new element to the show instead of the cowboy hat and Yankee hat that you just consistently wear all year long. You know what I mean? I can't wait.
Squads, man.
You know what? I'm going to get you a fresh Jet hat so you can wear it with your son.
Jets.
Jets. Yes, I'm wearing the Rutgers baseball shirt. We will talk about the Yankee games. But as you know, Dave, okay, at the top of the show, and I'm here to educate, I have my stack of baseball cards, and I thought this guy might be the worst player up there. And I never heard of him, and I know you didn't either. And then, of course, when I do a little research, a little Googling, do the Google, you find things that I find, again, maybe I don't, some people must hate this segment. I think it's hysterical about these little unknown guys. I think you're going to get a kick out of what happened to this guy in a weird way. And of course, his name is none other than your friend and mine, Mr. Mark Sullivan, a Red Sox. Okay. Yes. Now, this young fella, he played from 1982 to 1987. Okay. Only played for the Red Sox. All right. He was a career 186 batting average. He was a catcher. All right. He had 360 at-bats, 67 hits, 5 home runs. And I'm like, oh, wow. How did he last 5 years? This guy's
5 home runs in 5 years?
5 home runs in 5 years. This guy did. And 1 year he had 0. Of course, you read a little bit like defensive specialist, right?
Yeah,
You're like, oh, that
he
guy
blocks the plate like a gem.
Right. And of course, I'm like reading this and I'm like, you know what? In years that he played over 30 games, okay, he never batted over 193, which
so he's a backup. He's a backup,
but not even a backup because he was 30. Like, backup catchers.
You sure you pull this off your AAA stack?
Okay. Now here's the thing. Of course, he was in the '86 World Series with the Red Sox against the Mets, and of course, DNP. So that's how you know right away. Like even catchers get in the ninth inning, you're down. I don't remember the scores of each game. I think they were all pretty close though. But this guy didn't get a sniff in the World Series. Okay. But now he was born in Queens. This is what started to make me curious. Because I'm a Yankee fan, so the Red Sox, I knew that stuff pretty well back then. And he was born in Quincy, Mass. I'm like, local guy, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized he was drafted like in the 2nd round. I'm like, that's pretty good for like, why did he suck so bad? And then I did a little more research and I find out that he is the son of a former Red Sox player. Now, I understand that. You show a little love to the guy. I think the Yankees drafted Thurman Munson's kid and Mattingly's kid. They do it like usually like in the 48th round. Like
they tried to get Al Leiter's kid. He's actually good.
He's actually too good. Man. The whole game. Yeah. I get all of it. But the difference here is, Dave, is that Mark Sullivan's dad, it cracks the shit out of me. His dad, Haywood Sullivan, was the general manager of the Boston Red Sox.
Jesus
okay.
Christ.
And it gets worse. Not only that, he invested $200,000 because the Red Sox were all shin god back then. He invested $200,000. Not only was the GM, he was part owner of like real part owner of with the Yorkie family of the Boston Red Sox, and all over it said he drafted his son in the second round, and like nobody had him going like above seventh round.
So basically, he gave him an allowance to play baseball for a little while, and that was it.
Okay, and this kid he was a Gator, Florida Gator. Obviously, he was a decent player in high school. I mean, in college, as they usually all are. The problem is though, under his regime, okay. This guy, Haywood Sullivan, if you look him up, was known as the one who like destroyed the Red Sox, getting rid of like Carlton Fisk and Fred Lynn. And like this guy, like he's hated among Red Sox fans. It's like destroying the franchise for 20 years. But the best part of it was, I'm talking more about his dad than the player because it just came up. That $200,000 investment, Dave, which you've invested, like you've invested $200K in your wrestling megatropolis you got going on there, right? Easily, right? However, he turned in to $30 million because when it got sold later on, the shares went.
Jesus.
And it was originally reported that he turned it into 12 mil, but it's 300 mil. And then you realize that, and now Mark Sullivan, the shitty catcher who shouldn't have been drafted in the second round, is in the real estate business in Arizona. And
I can't wait till Google picks this up and sees in the description that we talked about him, and all of a sudden he's going to be Googling his own name. Like, I wonder how many people are looking for cars to. What's this Jimmy Palumbo show, and why did they mention me?
I hope the algorithm shows it, but he's a good looking fellow, clean cut. Mark Sullivan, stud guy, defensive specialist. Which is,
we'll go with that.
You know what that means? And listen, promise me when you raise your kid, do not spend a minute on any kind of defensive thing in any sport. Like, tell him someone's got to be honest with your son. Say, listen, Miles. Nobody cares. And because he's going to be a linebacker, we know that. Well, you got to teach him to go for the ball.
He's starting the end zone. He's starting to get a running start from across the living room, and he'll go, "Daddy." I'm like, "What?" He'll run full blast, and when he gets to me, he'll put his shoulder into me. I was like, "Okay, all right, we got a Mike linebacker over here. We got to put the green dot on his helmet."
Well, if you could try to get him to play a tight end, you'd be much better off because nobody cares about defense in this world.
And if he plays against the Giants, he'll have career days.
Forget it.
You guys can't cover a tight end.
Can't cover anybody. Yes, he'll be a long legend of tight ends of the Cowboys.
3rd and 17, Witten for 18.
That's it. I'm convinced the Giants have defended. I wish there was a stat like on NFL, like who covered Dallas Cowboy tight ends the shittiest from 1970 to 2023. I'm convinced we have to be in the top 5. There's no doubt about it.
Top 5.
If my brother was on the show right now, he would probably bring up some Cowboy tight end that we forgot about.
Nova checks for the 12.
Somebody from like the 68 Cowboys. I'm sure in the beginning when the Cowboys really sucked in the 60s, when they first joined the league, whatever. I'm sure like there's a tight end who caught like the Giants probably beat him like 42-10, but there was a tight end who caught 11 balls for 120
and a tug and a touchdown.
That's right. And the team only passed 15 times. So that's it. Mark Sullivan, whose dad destroyed the Red Sox and turned it into $30 million in like 1990. So the whole family's rich. So God bless. That's my guy. We took a little longer on that, but I thought it was comical. Now, do you have a card, Dave, or are you just researching it now?
No. I'm looking at the back of the card just because I'm curious about the year. It's a 1992 card. It is a Yankee card. Started with the Indians in 87, 88. Went over to the Yankees in 89, 90, 91, and however long after that.
That's a shitty era.
He's an outfielder. You'll know exactly who this is as soon
Roberto,
as I say.
Bobby Kelly? Roberto Kelly?
No, close though. Honestly, close. Another fine looking gentleman here. And it looks like over the course of his career between 87 and 91, he was a 277 hitter. So it's actually not bad.
Not bad. He be making about $16 million a year.
Exactly. Way better than Giancarlo's start this year already. But we're going to go with Mr. Mel Hall.
Oh, Mel Hall. We love Mel Hall.
Mel Hall's a fan favorite. I know a lot of people like Mel Hall.
Yes. Mel Hall.
What's crazy? Just so for the
viewing audience. Mel Hall was on the 96
all the cards
team
for the last 3 weeks. Still on my desk.
That's great. That's the funny thing. You look at him like, who is this guy? That's
great. Right?
Mel Hall, was he on the 96 Yanks or no?
I don't think
so.
On the 92 Yanks, but I can look that up.
I think he was. He played he played Mel Hall. I can't believe I don't remember what position he played.
He's the outfielder.
That's right, Mel. Yeah, he stunk, but we liked him. I don't remember. It's one of those guys.
Let's see. Mel Hall. He played all the way to. This is a weird thing. So in 92, he played with the Yankees, and then it doesn't have any stats until 96 with the San Francisco Giants.
Oh.
Is it possible he went to the minors? I don't know. But anyway, he was not on the 96.
He was on the okay, so he wasn't part of the Jeter-esque, but I remember him very well. All right, so Mel Hall and Mark Sullivan. Mel Hall being a Hall of Famer
comparable, yeah.
And I don't think Mel Hall was a defensive specialist. Bottom line with my guy, he stunk and his dad stunk. I wish I should have done this card around Father's Day.
Yeah, right.
Which brings us to the Mired in a Slump, Patreon.com. That's right. Now, listen, we are stuck at 40. I'm okay, even number. So we're stuck at 40. We're hoping to get 41. And I just got to give a shout out to Bob Sheehan. Of course, everybody's finest, Pat Volkermer, who I talked to the other day briefly. He's concerned about the Knicks. He doesn't want anybody to come back. He's so wrong. And also Darryl Clark, because he's an LSU fan, and we don't know what happened last night in the women's basketball, which
couldn't have happened to a better squad.
Yeah, and my women's basketball, the over and under on how much I watch in the year, all women's basketball is like 4 minutes, and I watched 3.5 minutes of it last night, and all I saw was Caitlin Clark dominate.
40 points last night.
40 points. She lit it up. I'm also tired of the coach on the other team, Kim Mulkey. I'm tired of her. Shut your mouth.
Yes.
And then Angel Reese. Well, my injury. You were not injured. You got smoked. Number one, Iowa's good anyway. And there was this other blonde on Iowa, which I don't remember. Listen, I'm not going to go into detail about the Iowa LSU women's game. Okay. The bottom line is there was like this big right-hander tight end girl on Iowa. All I saw was like Caitlin Clark was 170 feet from the basket. All of a sudden inside to this big blonde, like lays it up and then over Reese, over the other LSU, like monsters back there. And she was like killing it. I don't know how many points she finished with. And she's probably an All-American and all that. But I was like, that's cool. I was just tired of LSU. I hope Iowa wins it. I hope this girl does. If she can do for women's basketball what other players have done in the past, because women's basketball is not really that popular. I mean, nobody goes to the game. If you listen to Bill Burr about it.
Bill Burr's WNBA thing is very spot on accurate.
Listen, they have a league. I think they only
they got uniforms and everything.
Yeah, uniforms. They roll the balls out. There's only about 1,400 people there, which reminds me.
A team here in Cleveland.
Yes. Oh, there you go. But she's certainly a cool player to watch, and she does toss up bombs. And no one really has been able to stop her in 3 years. So
speaking of bombs, have you watched any of the men's stuff?
Yes.
I've only. Did you see the size of the guy on NC State?
Oh, he's my favorite player.
He's a fucking pulling guard.
Okay, he's a big guard. He comes in, and then he has touch around the rim. I love it. And then they did a little expose on him, and he's like, he plays the violin instruments. He reads. He's totally not what you think.
He's a soft monster.
But we'll get to that. Also, the Yankees 5-0. Now, I think it's great. The Yankees are playing well to me for one really main reason. The amount of pitches they take is truly incredible. Even last night, the guy, I think it was like, there was one out in the first inning and he threw 48 pitches already.
Like 60 or 80.
The only guy not really taking pitches is Giancarlo Stanton. He's just hacking
your boy.
But you know what? But Judge is not hitting either. I think Judge is only batting 150 and
we're 5 games in. Who's doing averages? But I will say that
Stanton he looks better at the plate than he did last year, but he's just not. He hit the one bomb, but he's not. Yankees may have it's always better, I think, when a player like Stanton, he got the contract. It's always better when he plays himself out of the lineup instead of like if you're batting like 230, 220. He's got some pop, but like he's below this Mendoza line now, and he may just play himself out of the lineup. You can't have Stanton in the lineup at 180. You just
depends, but it seems like Aaron Boone, in typical Boone fashion, decided to rest him on like day 3. And I was like, dude, he's not even playing the outfield. He's just a DH. Like, are we kidding right now?
And obviously Soto has just been,
what a godsend he is. And let me tell you something. I do have to admit, there's one member of this Yankees team that was rapidly up my favorite player on the team outside of Judge.
Your third baseman.
No, it's Verdugo.
Oh, Verdugo.
He's not batting yet. He's not batting much yet at all, but like his defense and his moxie, his swag.
Don't you just want to go for a beer with Verdugo? And
but last year
you want a day drink with him. You know what I mean? He just what did you do today? I woke up, I went day drinking with Verdugo. We got home at 5:00. We're both hammered. He's got a
Verdugo, Doogie. Yeah, we went out.
Yeah, Doogie, he went out. He was a little buzzed during the game. He got 3 hits. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. And like I said, when he was a Red Sox, I hate him as a Red Sox.
Here's what I have to bring in a little negative, and you tell me. You watch some of the games, I'm sure. The Can the Diamondbacks and Astros have played any worse defense in the first 5 games of the season?
Astros look like the bad news Bears in a one play. They threw a ball away 6 times.
Diamondbacks last night, throw to the plate, wide, catcher throws out of third base. Like that, the Yankees. I feel like the Yankees only have 3 earned runs this whole season, and they're 5-0. The minute they run into a team that plays good defense again, we're going to go back to the old Yankees where it's, wow, Yankees are getting no hit again in the 5th. But Soto certainly in the middle there looks good. And the Yankees playing well. So 5-0. I think it's important to start off. I mean, it's only April. We're to March baseball here. But listen, when you're 0-5 in New York, Soto, you suck. And fans starting. And by the way, the Yankees, their home opener is now August 8th. I don't know if you noticed that. I don't recall being this long.
Yeah. I mean, if you start on the road, you're going to have a couple series on the road first. Yeah. It's just we just don't start. We just didn't start home.
There 7 road games to start the season. I need you. Do your research. I don't remember that.
But the best part is for the Astros, it's like they got shelled 4 games in a row, and the Yankees officially, as of March 31st, have won the series tiebreaker if they finish tied. It's like they clinched it by beating them 4 times.
By the way, didn't the Astros smoke somebody on Monday?
Bro, they pitched a no-hitter yesterday.
Yeah, but didn't they win like 9-0?
10.
Wow.
They won 10-0, and they no-hit the Toronto Blue Jays. And I'm just like, what?
So go Astros. Beat them.
Yeah, go Astros, man. Beat them up.
NCAA, the Palumbo family pool. I didn't win many games at all. However, I made one decision because I went to a Rutgers-Purdue game, and Zach Edey is the size of Godzilla. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, if I coach Purdue, we would never lose a game. Because I would call a timeout, gather everybody around and go, all right, listen, just get the ball in his Edey underneath, and he lays it in because he doesn't have to jump to dunk. I would just go Zach Edey all day long. And of course I picked Purdue, but I'm not in first place. The only way I win my family pool, Purdue has to win 2 games in a row. They got to win the thing. And you know who's in first place? My mom. But her ballot was filled out by my nephew Tommy, I believe. I don't think.
That's not what I heard. I heard that she put one of those patches on her hand and then started to write.
Yeah. And look at Dave Sturcho getting involved here. Also, really quickly, the Knicks.
It's a bad loss, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's a bad. It wasn't. Everybody's like, "Oh, it was a good game." What did they lost? Listen, the Knicks just need those other guys back. I know they do. The whole Villanova thing is cute. But you need, you know what? You need the big uglies in there.
You're not going to win a championship with the Villanova.
No, I don't. You know, they need, and now they're saying, of course, I'm going to bust Pat Volcker's balls here. He's like, I don't want those other 2 guys back. I like the way they play. I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's stupidity.
You need Randall.
I'm sorry.
Wasn't there was another player years ago that was out, and people were like, oh, we don't need. Was it Ewing? I forget. It was another one of those great players. Oh, they played better
because it's always to the fact they're like, oh, they're playing really well without him. Let's not change it up now. Like, no, asshole, get their star back in there and start scoring more points. You won by 30, win by 40. Right.
I agree. Everybody, the other team does rally around when your star's out.
Sure,
but that worked for like 2 games, and all of a sudden, like, the Spurs want to talk it over here. They just,
one of the worst teams in the league. I'm like, you gotta be.
That was awful. But the Knicks, listen, we have a reason. We're in like week 12 or 13 of the Knicks in the last 5 years being exciting. Mm-hmm. And but if Brunson goes down, God, I mean,
why would you even say that? Right?
Yeah, now? It's Jesus. Like it'd be the worst. But go Knicks! All right, now cornholelevel.com here at Shea. Oh wait, no, I forgot one thing. You know what I forgot? ChasingMiracles.com. Jimmy Palumbo wearing the patches. Eileen Joan Palumbo wearing the patches, as well as Mary Jo Blum out of Colonia. She's wearing the patches here at Shea. These stuff, it's all the shit your body needs. Stem cell patches creates an immediate effect for your body to repair anything. It's a non-transdermal. Put these things on, non-invasive. You can pee in the cup. And it's all the stuff you need. Check these things out. It works. My mother is avoiding knee surgery because of it. I'm not making that up. And I wear them. It does help me a little bit, especially when I play Pickalicious pickleball. Okay. And we're going to get to what happened in the pickleball tournament on Saturday later on the show. But which brings us to cornholelevel.com sponsoring our guest here as I'm ruffling pages like an asshole.
It's all good.
Cornholelevel.com. That's right. Now, Dave, our guest I know my guest has trouble with his cornhole. We've been there. And of course, you've been, you're like 70, 80 shows in, struggling with your cornhole, heading into the spring, summer season. But if you go to cornholelevel.com and type in JP Show, you get 20% off. Because if you have an unlevel cornhole board, you just hook this thing on, move it around, get that little circle thing right in the middle, and you got yourself a perfect cornhole level. Level your cornhole here at Jay. Go check it out. Cornholelevel.com, a fine sponsor of the Jimmy Palumbo Show, which brings us to my guest. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the broadcast.
Oh, no, really?
Now this guy,
Thank you so much.
Let me explain to this guy. This gentleman's name is Geoffrey Cantor. I call him Jeff, but I do call him Geoffrey. Now, Geoffrey Cantor, we actually live in the same town, and we did up until a few years ago. But we've also been in the league right around. We kind of came up around the same time. Jeff was a little bit before me. We have.
But was I really before you?
Yes, you were.
When were you in Friends?
Yeah, but you were.
When were you in Friends?
I don't know, 2006 maybe.
Oh, all right.
But I was also first of all,
I was never in Friends though.
I know this guy because he's a great actor and he's also a good acting coach and he's a good director. He's a good guy. He's a shitty Met fan, but he's a Giant fan, so that neutralizes the Mets. And his name is Geoff Cantor. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you. So it's just you were talking about how the Yankees are 5-0 and the Mets are equally perfect.
Oh,
just the other way. Just the other way.
Yes. Well, the Mets are. Listen, it's March baseball. Remember John Sterling's line. You can't win it in April, but you can lose it. I remember one time.
Actually, the Mets can't win it in April, May, June, July, August.
Usually, the Mets always fade in the dog days of the summer. Maybe this would be the opposite.
They always fade in the season before, and it just sort of continues.
It's like decades.
Well, fun fact about the Yankees: the last time the Yankees started 5-0, they finished under 500 in 1992.
There you go.
It's like, all right, everybody, calm down.
And listen, I still think home stinks anyway. We're not here to talk sports. We're here to talk to Geoffrey Cantor, America's favorite actor, the adorable one. He used to live in Ramsey with me, and we would commiserate on the train sometimes. It was always more fun on the way in, though, Jeff, because we'd be excited about auditions. But when I caught you on those train rides home on a hot August day, when you didn't book the audition, and we would share, we would somehow walk out with 24-ounce Bud cans. And
and also the number of auditions sort of diminished.
Yes.
The drunker we get on the train on the way home increased. It was an exact. So like we go into the city, and when you have 2 auditions, but you're still there all day, all of a sudden that little bar at Secaucus, it seems really welcoming.
Oh, it's the greatest. I don't know why that bar at Secaucus junk. This again, I'm educating people. Jeff, I can't believe you just brought that up. I don't know why that bar is. I got caught there a couple times. Trains are delayed sometimes, and you go to this little bar. It doesn't even have like electricity. The guy bartender, but like there's like all these guys like, I just don't want to go home. I just want to stay in this bar. It's like it's the worst bar, but the best bar. And you sit there and watch TV, and there used to be a hot
Jimmy. How many times did you apply to work there?
Oh, it'd be great. You know why? But imagine you have to commute via the train to get to work. I'd be 4 hours late every day.
Yeah, but then you could drink on the way home and not have to worry about driving.
Oh, it's so right. Until you get to Ramsey. Woo! Anyway, Jeff, let me ask you. You've been acting a long time. I was giggling because on Star Meter on IMDb, I'm at 63,000. And you were at 25,000. So Jeff is so much higher. However, those of you scoring at home, Kyle's going to be looking at stats like this. You come in with 114 credits. But Jimmy Palumbo with a quick 3 at the end of the half with 117 credits.
Are you ahead of me?
I'm ahead of you. But you have more of a star factor. Now, I got to ask you. Let me ask you. I always ask when I have actors on. What was your first 2 things? What was your first gig that you booked as an actor? And I'm not going back to middle school or something like that, but something where, even if it was that long ago, where it was pretty cool and you realized, oh, I may want to do this, or you didn't know what you were doing and people were like, you were really good.
Well, so there were probably 2 things. So one was doing summer stock when I was in college.
Okay.
So I did summer stock. Summer stock is for those of you who are sports people and not theater people. It's like summer league, basically.
It's usually at one theater, right? And you do like 3 or 4 shows.
Yeah. So you do repertoire, you do like a bunch of shows. It's a whole season, and so I would go up to Weston, and so I did plays up in Weston. But I just thought that's what I'm doing for the summer. It's like an internship, except fun. And we got $42 a week and a place to stay.
Oh,
and
you should be. Wow, that's like podcasting.
But that also did not give me the idea that this is what I could do for a living. That happened more during school. But the first gig I was really excited about was right out of drama school when I had somewhere there's a picture, but a few pictures. But there's I did a show called The Night Network in London. So I went to drama school in London, and it was a late night television program, sort of framed on like MTV with all these different segments. And I was an American DJ. When I put the needle on a record, you'd see a video. And that gave me access to seeing concerts in London. Like I saw Dire Straits, and Sting came out to sing I Want My MTV. Oh, wow. Like I saw those kinds of shows and met people and made very little money, but by British standards, it was more than enough. So that was the first time I right out of drama school.
Now, what was your my first credit, the real one, the big boys, was on 1995. I did Spin City. What was your first like NBC? See, back then it was
so other than The Night Network, which that was television in England, so I thought that was pretty cool. But I'm sure it was Law and Order.
Well, I'm looking up here. You're close. It was actually, according to IMDb, it was Third Watch. And you played Lewis as Geoffrey P. Cantor.
No. So the reason that you're seeing that before is because the way what IMDb does is it puts the last Law and Order that you did. That's the time. So the first Law and Order I did was definitely before Third Watch.
Third Watch says it was 2001.
Yeah, no, there was like
you did 4 episodes.
Oh, look how cute I am. That's so cute. Look how cute I am. Yeah. That's Hail Caesar. That's Hail Caesar.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. That's Coen Brothers. That's why I'm more important than Jimmy.
Now, Jeff is a major person in my life because whenever there's any kind of SAG-AFTRA our union issue, I call him Jeff.
Wait. Whenever?
Yeah, like every day.
It's like the Mets. It's SAG-AFTRA is sort of like if the Mets were a union, it would be SAG-AFTRA.
If the Mets married Rutgers and had a child, it would be SAG-AFTRA union. That's really so. I'm always like, Jeff, what does this mean? Is this good? Should I vote yes? Should I vote no? Who do I vote into the New York local board? And one of these days, me and Jeff are going to run as a team.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to be a slate. We're going to be a slate.
I'll be your running mate.
This is a union job, right?
Yes, but Jimmy Palumbo Show's full union.
I'm getting pension and health for this.
Pension and health. You get you'll get your check for $1,100. It's got to go through Chop Sports, and sometimes they're a little slow in paying everything. Yeah. He's been waiting for his own checks, which he didn't realize he has to write about himself based upon income. And there's none coming in from this job. Well, let me ask you another question. What do you feel? This year was rough. I know you and I didn't. I got lucky with a booking, which we're going to talk about because it's a common booking between us. But the SAG strike, and then the writers' strike, and now the Teamsters possible strike.
Yeah, I don't think the Teamsters are going to strike. I think that's going to. If that happened, that would be a disaster for everybody. I think the Teamsters will work it out. Since everybody else has,
I think IATSE, that union kind of looks like they're going to settle.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what it is? I think they wouldn't have settled, but their players lost too much work with the actors and writers going out.
Yeah, the first gig that I lost. So, COVID was the first big whack, right? So I had jobs lined up right before COVID hit. Then COVID hit, and I lost 5 jobs. And then just when you think you're getting back in the water. Things start picking up and post-COVID doing some work. And then all of a sudden the strike. And so the first gig I had that they're going to start filming again in May, I got to set and we had to leave because the writer's strike. So before we even were striking, we might as well have been striking because we couldn't work anyway.
For COVID, I was at the end of the bench, not even playing. So I was like, whatever, I'm playing anyway. But before the strike this year,
you were cooking.
I booked something called Daredevil.
Wait.
Daredevil Returns, and it turns out that Geoff Cantor is also working at the, what's the name of the paper again? On the Daredevil series.
No, better. The Bulletin.
The Bulletin. And Jeff was about 20 episodes you did?
I did like 16. Yeah.
16 episodes.
Over three seasons. And I did
it looks like I'm in 3 or 4, but which is great. And we were laughing over. We want to make in the new season. I'm not sure if I made the cut. You don't know until the thing airs, but we want to see the Bulletin newspaper back.
We really do.
The editor.
So what happened was, for all the reasons, Netflix and Marvel, and which is owned by Disney. So there was in 2019, we were supposed to start filming Daredevil again, and then Disney basically said we're going to move everything to our streaming platform. Netflix is like, what? And so it created some conflict. And then the first thing that went was Luke Cage, because they wanted to knock it down to 10 episodes. They had to reconvene a writer's room. That never happened because that would have cost money. So that went away. Iron Fist went away. Jessica Jones went away. Then we were canceled. So we were all set to shoot. Everybody knew we were going to be going in February of 19, and that was
and
that.
That's when I started watching the show. It's a great show,
right. And
I hate that. I'm not a big Marvel, DC, all those comic. I'm not that guy, but this show is very good.
Yeah, well, it's different. I think what makes it different is that Daredevil is not. He's not impervious to pain. He's not super strong. Right. He doesn't really have abilities other than sort of a unique ability to, even though he's blind, sense things around him with his sort of heightened sensibility, which is, just sort of overstating what people who can't see often experience anyway. Right?
I fell in love with the blonde on the show. She was just raining threes.
Yes. Deborah Ann Wall's a good friend of mine.
She was like a Caitlin Clark.
But we all thought when they canceled it, like it's done. And then,
then they contacted Jimmy Palumbo and said, "Hey, let's revitalize this."
Because you're the one who can bring us back to life. And
now there's also some issues now. I can't go into all details, but I shot some stuff, and then they kind of canceled my season as well, but they didn't quite cancel it. They're
right. So there are a bunch of people called Save Daredevil who literally from the day it ended till they made the announcement that they were going to revitalize it, who they take some of the credit, and I think they deserve some of the credit for keeping the pressure on Disney, and Charlie Cox gives them all the credit in the world, and so does D'Onofrio. And so when it came back, though, they said 18 episodes, and it seems that after the strike, when they watched what they had, they're like, maybe we need to reconsider connecting it to what was on Netflix. And so I believe that they're bringing Deborah Ann. This is common knowledge. Deborah Ann and Eldon are back. They were the core team, and Charlie seemed very happy about that. And if they're back, they also hired this young, wonderful African-American actress to play Urich's niece, and she's supposed to be a newspaper reporter. So I am hopeful that means that
I don't know. And through all this, I don't really know if I made the cut until the
I'm sure you made the cut. How could you not make the cut? Look at you. Look how cute
listen, you are. So was there a Facebook page, Save Daredevil, or something like that?
There was, yeah. There were like 500,000 of them.
Well, it turns out my social media guy, who will remain nameless, Dave Sturchio's his name, he is already. I'm sure he's Googling Facebook pages, and we will post something of me and Geoff Cantor, who are a part of the new Daredevil.
Well, I'm not yet. I mean, there's rumors. There's a lot of hope.
Time out. I misspoke.
You're part of it.
The thing is, I'm possibly part of the new season, and Geoff was a bigger part of the past season, and hopefully he can return. So we'd like to have that. So
and then we could go to work together, and we could drink on the train again.
It'd be great. Then we'll get fired. Then we get fired because we're too drunk.
Yeah, that'd be so fun.
Jeff, I got a question. Real quick. Because I did some research, as Jimmy likes to pronounce it. before the show. Obviously you've been in the business for so long, and you have so many credits, not as many as Jimmy, according to him. But I got to know, the one thing that stood out to me was that you were a voiceover for Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
Now that is, for me, that's so cool, because I grew up. I'm a younger generation than you. I'm not younger by any stretch. I'm 38. So,
Dude, you are so much younger than me.
I'm just saying, I grew up on stuff like the Grand Theft Auto. Is that something that's like, one, your experience with that? Two, as long as that game keeps getting played, is that something that's how does that work?
Thanks to our union, there's still no residual base on games, which I believe is something that we should have been talking about, 20 years ago.
Or any voiceover work for that matter,
Yeah, well, voiceover for radio, you get a little dribs and drabs, and voiceover for TV commercials, you get a little dribs and drabs. And if you're a voice on something that pays residuals, but video games don't pay residuals. And I was at a Comic-Con in Nashville last year, and there's this guy who's like, my son knew him. He's like famous. I forget his name now, but he has to do all the gigs. Like, he has to constantly do gigs. There's no residual base, and I think that's unfair. Unluckily, all of my eggs are not in one basket. So I got to play Beverly. I actually just met these young people. I was in a coffee shop in Little Falls or Little Ferry or whatever, and this kid comes in. It was little because of that. But he's like, so I get this a lot. Nah. And but he recognized me from
he recognized your voice from Beverly.
No, he recognized me from Daredevil. But then somehow the discussion about gaming came up, and when I told him I played Beverly, he was like, no, because he's 30, and he like that for him was way more important than Daredevil, was playing Beverly and Grand Theft Auto. And it takes them forever. I mean, I think that took over 4 years to shoot. I think I did my first few.
They're still working on the next one, man. Like it's been like one of these things where it takes a decade to get the next version out.
Dave, do you remember a video game called Need for Speed?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, guess what? There's a guy named Jimmy Palumbo.
Get out of here.
I was a big time voice for that. I'm the guy, the cop saying it's a red car making a left on me.
Oh my God.
So you were listening to me when you were just a little youngster. And
he has to do that. He has to do that because you were impressed with me, but he needs to know.
Did you see that, Jeff?
Yeah, he needs to do that.
Well, you know what it was?
He's very fragile.
I understand on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, for those who are watching, it says Jimmy Palumbo Show, and all B for Jimmy Palumbo. But Jeff was telling me about a very cool moment about his fact that he had a voice on an awesome multi-million-dollar video game, and all of a sudden it's like Jimmy's like, hey, remember Need for Speed? Hey, remember that?
You know what? Some of the fans on the upper deck were like, hey, wait a minute, Mr. Video Game guy.
If you go into IMDb, you can see all the 8 games that I've done, and and the audiobooks that
Jeff
I've done.
Has a wonderful voice. We share the same agent, and we share the same agents that go out of business. This is something that Jeff, in the old, that Too Big to Fail. Well, me and Jeff are with these big agencies, and they failed. I told him, Jeff, like,
one would like to say, I'm too small to fail, and yet somehow I'm doing great as a failure. How many agents have you had, Jimmy?
On the TV and film, I've only had
on the legit side.
On the legit side, I've only had. Wow, that's a great question. I really only had 2. I went from William Morris, which is now WME World Wrestling and Entertainment. I don't know what the hell it's called now. And Henderson Hogan. I'm only 2. I've been 2 home.
So what Jimmy was alluding
I say you've had 8.
So you were alluding to the fact that that KMR has become defunct, and other people are moving elsewhere on the legit side and the commercial side. So Tracy and Keston have landed very happily in their new place, and
I'm along with them.
And me too. But when the legit people move, God willing, I'll go with them or I'll go with someone else if that doesn't work out. That will be my 14th or 15th legit agent.
Now, is that because they went under, or you're just a pain in the ass actor who expects the best?
lots of different reasons. I mean, I don't need. I'll bore you with that in person.
No, we're not gonna go through that.
I'll bore you with that in person, but it was been quite a ride.
The reason why I bring it up is just it's so hard to be an actor, so hard to consistently make a living at it, and then but at least in the old days, the agencies didn't go anywhere. It's like, so we struck out with the agent, and we lost games. Now it's like you go to the field and there's no stadium.
There's no stadium. like you get there and it's like, remember in Blazing Saddles when they're in the West, but it's only a movie set.
Right.
So it's just like you go into the stadium and it's a set.
It's
you go behind this. There's tumbleweeds. There's nobody there. There's no phones.
Matter of fact, KMR actually owes me money, which is a check scooted through that I didn't get, which is throwing them under the bus. But they don't exist anymore, so I can bash them, I guess.
Crazy.
And then Abrams Artists, A3, we were there. They went under. These were big agencies: New York, Chicago, LA, Miami, gone. So now you've actually directed me in something, Jeff.
I have.
You put money in my pocket. The best thing is I put no money in your pocket, and you put money in my pocket.
I know. That's why we're doing this podcast today, because that's just your payment. This is how you're getting it back.
I think Jeff Cantor should be known to the world as the most talented man on the planet.
And there should be an appeal that Ellison returns to be to run the bulletin in the new Daredevil. I mean, that's really the goal.
Yes, the goal. That's the goal of this show is to make sure that Jeff Cantor is on the new Daredevil season.
If you're listening or watching and you've ever seen Daredevil when it was on Netflix and now it's on Disney Plus, if you liked Ellison and you like the relationship he had with Karen Page, and you understand how important it is to have decent reportage with integrity, then by all means make sure that you bring me back.
Yes, because, bring Jeff Cantor back as Ellison. For the main reason he uses words that that Dave and I don't understand. So
I'm gonna definitely catch up on Daredevil right after like Bluey. After that, I'll definitely I'll fit it in. I gotta say this stuff.
They're very similar.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, Bluey and Daredevil. People got them confused a lot.
I get it.
You have to say Bluey is blue and Daredevil is blind and red and
blind and red.
Yeah.
That's
now.
great.
What are you getting ready to shoot coming up in May? What do you got going on?
So
good auditions.
There have been some auditions, but the one thing that's lined up right now is 0 Day, which has got like Angela Bassett and
where is that shooting? Is it
Robert De Niro? Yeah. No. That's shooting in upstate New York. Not even upstate, like near Purchase.
Okay.
Or one of the schools up in
SUNY Purchase?
No, like up. I don't know which school it is. It's one of those pretty schools they're up like Briarcliff Manor area, and so that's where we're shooting. And so that I believe starts in May. And a film
how many weeks did you get on that?
It's just one episode, but all the stuff is with De Niro, so that'll be a lot of fun. Right. And then and there's a film that I'm in that's at the Philip K. Dick Festival in Queens at the Museum of the Yes, I said Philip K. Dick. But the Museum of the Moving Image.
Dave laughed at that.
The 38-year-old.
You love that word "dick," don't you? Because you're 38. Yeah. So
you can see Dave at Dick's Sporting Goods along with Phil.
I was there right before the show.
Here we go.
So that's going to be at the Museum of the Moving Image April 6th at 6:00 as part of that festival, and then a film that I directed about youth and suicide loss actually is starting to make. It's really light, super light, like really fun. No. It's a documentary. I had 5 kids in a room with a facilitator, and they talked about people that they've lost. And so
you've been involved with that. I don't want to say movement, organization.
That topic, yeah. So like in 2012, I worked with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and was a creative consultant and a content creator for them. And then Joanne Harpel, who's the world's leading expert on suicide loss, by the way. If you or somebody you know is struggling, please make sure you call the hotline. But also, if you've lost someone and you need help, Joanne Harpel at Coping After Suicide is somebody you could reach out to. But I've been working with her, and I created this film with her, and it's starting to get into some festivals. So It's an important topic. It's free. You can go to rethinktheconversation.org. You can find it online, Talking Out Loud. It's free for anybody who's experienced loss.
Was it it's called Talking Out Loud?
Talking Out Loud, Teens and Suicide Loss, a Conversation.
Okay.
So go to rethinktheconversation.org.
That's really cool stuff. You also directed this short film, which I thought was cool. I tried to explain what the camera was like. This is my interpretation.
I locked the camera off.
Yeah, you had the camera like on the kind of the bed almost.
No. So the film is called Ensuite. It's another light topic. It's about a woman and her husband. The woman has, my friend Lainey Ventura created it and starred in it, and Rob Bogue was in it. And they're a couple, and the first day is she's having a double radical mastectomy and reconstruction the same day, and we tracked them over in 12 minutes over the course of a year. And it's called Ensuite.
But it's only the camera angle was cool.
Yeah, so I locked the camera off. So that
you say lock the camera.
Lock the camera so the camera doesn't move. So the camera's up in the corner of the bathroom, and we're shooting through the bathroom into the
to the hallway,
into the bedroom, really.
The bedroom, right?
And that film was in. That film first made it into the festival circuit in early October of 2021, and really was in the festival universe for over 2 years.
That was awesome. When I watched that, I was, because I love Jeff. We like to bust each other's balls, but when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, Jeff can really direct. It wasn't just like it was a different. The whole thing had a feel.
Thank you.
From the music to the angle, the camera, and the actors and stuff like that. It was just one of those things where, sometimes you watch these shorts and there's two people talking and who cares. But the way it was shot was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I mean, it won a bunch of.
Is that on YouTube? Can you get that?
Not yet. We haven't quite decided
what to do.
It's really up to the producers to figure out how they want to, if they want to monetize it, if they just want to share it. Right. But that also, that's fiction. But Lainey herself went through a double radical mastectomy and reconstruction, and so while it's fiction, there's a lot of truth in it because she helped, she created it. We did some rewrite, some restructuring of it, but it was her. She's the writer, and it really reflects a lot of what she experienced from the emotional standpoint. And so people I think I'm kind of funny. I'm not a stand-up. I did stand-up once. You're a stand-up.
Very humorous guy.
But it seems that I only do serious shit, man. I don't know what that is.
Comedy, drama, you get that.
So somebody once said, I'll ask you guys because you guys are. Well, I don't know why I'm asking you, but I'll ask you guys anyway. So it was once said that the difference between comedy and tragedy is distance. So, for instance, if you watch somebody from a distance walking down and slipping on a banana peel, that'll be funny. But if you watch them up close and you see their faces, they break their tibia. That's tragedy. And I think there's some.
I feel that way about the Knicks. You got Randall dominating, going to the hole.
Yeah, it's always goes back to the Knicks.
Then his shoulder becomes displaced. That's tragedy.
Yeah. Or if you watch the Mets.
No, that's a fucking tragedy.
That's a tragedy.
No matter what angle, from the deep seats all the way to the front row.
I want all Rutgers games to be screened at funeral homes, where you just go in, you pay your respects.
With one camera in the corner that shoots down, and that's
with a closed coffin. You don't know who's in there, what fan is in there, and you watch the game and you file out quietly until they lose.
That's funny.
What else I want to ask you? So how did you know? I always try to talk about the minutia of being an actor, and we touched on it a little bit with agencies going out of business. But you've been doing this a long time. I know you've had some really cool years. And another thing Jeff did, and Jeff, I'm going to blow the name of the product. You tell me. Jeff was part of a famous run of commercials, and I remember it. I didn't even know you that well. Kleenex with Dave. Do you remember this commercial when he's sitting on the couch talking to people?
So people would sit on a couch and they would talk to me
in the middle of an intersection.
We were down in.
If I saw it, I'd probably
it's the Let It Out campaign, and I was the good listener, and I conducted I didn't conduct them, being for want of a better word, interviews, but really I had conversations about 800, 900 conversations across America over 3 years. Right. And I would be sitting in one place for 6 hours, and people would just line up to talk. and I was in.
Did you? First of all, I was not up for that gig because I would have done that easily. Yeah. What you probably trying to kill yourself? Nah, come on, let's go get it.
No. It was, and the topics really ranged. So they filmed everything, but some of the topics, like I remember I was in Philadelphia towards the end of it, and I was shooting a TV show in Pittsburgh, and I had to fly from Pittsburgh because I was shooting for 3 months, but I had to fly to different places from there.
Pittsburgh, Philly,
the big cities, the big cities. So, I mean, I loved Pittsburgh, but I'm in Philadelphia and I'm in Love Park, and I don't know. Have you been to Philly?
I've been to Philly.
So Love Park, you know where Love Park is?
Love Park. No.
How close is it to the Rocky statue?
I guess it's a jog.
That's about as all as I know about Philadelphia.
It's a jog.
I'm booked down there for 4 straight days coming up this weekend. Okay. So like I haven't. Fuck Philly.
So I'm in.
You know what, Jeff? You brought up Philadelphia, and since he's a Cowboy fan, he doesn't even like the city. I mean,
the only thing good about Philadelphia was a fictional character named Rocky Balboa. That's it. Everything else can just burn to the ground. I wouldn't care.
Anyway, so I'm in Love Park, and it's right outside of a sort of, it's not a proper prison, but it's one of those, like, after somebody's been arrested before they go to prison, the holding cells and stuff. So it's literally right there in the park, and the people leaving there were some of the people I was talking to. So you can imagine some of the conversations were a little difficult. And at one point there was something happening. I had to chase after somebody who was beating somebody up. It got super, super intense. But for the most part, it was a fun, uplifting, and humbling.
Plus, you made a lot. Plus, you made a lot of money.
I made a lot of money.
Well, also, I
got to go see. Like, I went to Wrigley Field. I'd never been to Wrigley Field. We spoke outside of Wrigley Field, and then we got to see a game. That was fun.
Wrigley's great.
I interviewed Santa at the Mall of America and asked him. It's like
nice Jewish boy interviewing Santa.
It makes sense. I actually asked him. I said,
awesome.
Did you sing the dreidel song to him?
No, but I did say to him, I said, every year you give away, millions of presents. Does anybody ever give you anything?
Aw.
Very nice.
And he got very quiet, and he goes, only my wife. I said, well, that's nice, but
Santa.
Yeah, Mrs. Santa. But it was the summer, right? So he was in the mall, but he was
he was thin. Was he thin?
No, he was fat as fuck. But he, but he was just like wearing a t-shirt and like suspenders.
Oh my
God.
Eat, Papa, eat.
I'm like Santa, you look. Is this your summer wear?
With all due respect, I can't think of a worst case scenario. You're in prison. You come out of prison, and the first person you see is Jeff Cantor. You have to talk to him.
Right. Well,
I would look at my lawyer like, I don't want to talk to this guy.
I was talking to people who had visited their loved ones in prison. They weren't people coming out of prison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the friends and family of the prison. Yeah, which is always fun to visit your friends.
It's really nice to talk to these people afterwards. We're in Love Park. We're in Love Park, so the topic was love.
Me and Dave did our podcast outside of Rawway Prison once.
Yeah. A lot of characters out there. A lot of characters.
And I was an extra in Malcolm X movie with Spike Lee, and I was an extra at Rawway Prison.
You are Johnny Drama. You are the guy that just has all these nonchalant. Hey, you remember I did those couple episodes on Full House? I was Stamos' badass nephew. Like nobody fucking remembers that, but you do.
Wait, you were Stamos' nephew?
No, I was.
That was you.
Well,
you were great.
Right.
I saw that.
That's great.
But also for our beer league fans here. Now, obviously, I was forced to hire Dave Sturcho to be in this new pilot.
Forced. Yeah, I had him I had a stranglehold on.
He's playing a character called Dave Destruction. But what a lot of people don't know is that if and when we get to some newer beer league stuff, there was a character played by Seymour Cassell, Dirt, and he passed away in the movie. But it turns out that Dirt had a son. That's very much not like Seymour Cassell, and that character will be played by none other than Jeff Cantor. Good evening, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Yes, I have to bone up on my.
And I was to sign the deal. I was gonna call his agent, to work out the terms. It turns out his agent is no longer in business, so I get to get Jeff at a much cheaper price to do this.
No, same price.
But
same price.
I'm going to cut you down.
Nothing from nothing is nothing.
You make a fortune working on Beer League.
Oh, baby.
So I look forward to working with you in that.
I look forward to working with you on that.
And we're also shooting a pickleball thing, which we haven't gotten to yet.
So do you play pickleball?
No, I like real sports.
Right.
More people injure themselves playing pickleball than
I believe it. I think I ruptured my Achilles bringing up the laundry the other day.
We played in a league. We played a league game on Saturday in this higher level for the first time. And I played against these two young kids that were tall and wide and strong. And we were down immediately 3-0. But then we came back, tied it up at 4, and that'll do it here.
Who's we? Who's we?
My
He's
partner.
French now.
Who's your
partner Kevin? It was a men's doubles. And then the second match, we were up 3-0. I was like, here we go. We're going to take this to the third game. And we lost that one 11-3 as Palumbo was hitting the net, played like shit in the second half. And we got beat. But
so what else have you discovered when you play pickleball besides your renewed vigor?
It's social. It's a social thing. You would love that end of it. It's people our age.
I hate
men and women, some a little bit younger. And there's fun people. It's a lot of fun. There's women there. It's
women.
Social.
Wow.
We bring a cooler after the matches and we sit in the summertime and have a cocktail or two. You would enjoy that. And it's not a bad way to be. You don't play pickleball. You're not an athlete. We shoot beer league. You won't see you on the field.
I was a tennis player, dude. I was a tennis player. I was
Johnny McEnroe over here.
I was a softball player when I was in England. I played
talk about that England baseball world over there.
No, but their flag football, they were serious about. They were serious about their American football.
He's actually kicking it around.
No, oh God, you guys.
So, all right.
I think I can play pickleball. I don't think it's that hard.
So you got a movie, you got a TV show coming up with De Niro. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to mention that I've already worked with him. And you got a.
Well, wait, Jimmy, what did you work with him on? What did you work with him on, Jimmy?
I worked on something called The Family.
Who else was in that, Jimmy?
I don't know. Tommy Lee Jones, Michelle Pfeiffer, and
who else, Jimmy?
Was Geoff Cantor in that?
No, wasn't
Dominic Lombardozzi, my man.
Dominic Lombardozzi for 3.
I was Dominic's lawyer in Law and Order.
Oh, see that? See the connection between me and Jeff?
It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. And plus now Dave is in beer league. It's just one big happy
we're all just here. One person.
Yeah. So listen, everybody, you Daredevil fans, Dave, I'm sure is going to post something.
I got you. I'll take care of this.
Yeah, Dave's got
very exciting for everybody.
And listen, Jeff, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on the show. This is so much fun. I can't wait to do another one.
Yes, you'll do when we start working again on Daredevil. Then I'll. I might be the Trent Dilfer of Daredevil. I'm not so sure. So yeah, one and done. That'll do it here from the Omni. But I hope everything works out and you get involved with the show. That would be fun.
It'd be fun.
It'd be good for your health insurance through SAG. It'd be good for your
it'd be good
for rent and mortgage payments and all that.
Payments. Yeah.
Can we get to 65 as an actor? I feel like I'm, 8 games
I can get to 65 for sure. Because
as an actor, that's another story.
I'm pretty close. As an actor, I don't know.
Listen. People are betting against me making it to 65, earning a living at 65, because they don't. Everything's it's all the kids. The kids are in the films now. The films. But I'm still auditioning. You're still auditioning. We're still around. They didn't. There's still some bubbles when they're holding us under the water. You still see some bubbles. But listen, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on the show. This was great fun. Lovely to see you both.
Yes.
Take care, Geoffrey. Thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for having me.
And don't forget to share this amongst your people.
Yes. Once you let me know, I can do that.
Yes, Dave will take care of that.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Dave.
All right. We'll see you.
Bye.
See you, buddy.
All right, take us home, Jimmy.
Yep. Well, clearly Dave's got somewhere to be here.
Listen, there's allocations of time that I have to, just do things here. And I'm trying my best.
Are you telling me you're on a pitch count now?
I am on a pitch count now. Yeah, that's official.
They said it was 60 and 64 pitches.
It's April. I'm starting to get a little.
That's about it.
man.
I do want to mention, obviously, Absolute Eyewear getting involved here. 42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey, 732-326-3937. I just went to the eye doctor yesterday, and it turns out my eyes are getting a little shittier, but that's what happens, but not too much. And I sent it over to Craig and Johnine, so I'll be getting maybe.
I did go over there. I had to get my wife's contacts. They gave us a boatload of contacts for a nice price, and I was like, "Wow, it's good to know people." But the only thing I will say before we get out of here, this is the second or maybe even third appearance at Absolute Eyewear that Janine was MIA. And I said to Craig, I was like, does she ever work, bro?
And so she wasn't there, Jaybird.
3 times in a row.
Wow. Maybe there's some kind
I want to see Janine, man. What the fuck?
If Absolute Eyewear was like a sport team, we were like, well, where is the big right-hander coming in? You know,
she's like the Chris Gucci of
maybe she's hanging out with Chris Gucci doing
maybe.
Back. That's right. Well, that's what happens once we get a sponsor. They end up not being gone. Maybe Craig fired her, just got rid of his sister. You know,
probably now he owns 98%.
Yeah, plus me and you should probably be working there behind the counter as well.
We get the 2, 1 and 1.
You come in. We don't know anything about glasses, but we just talk. We should have that one day. The Jimmy Palumbo Show with Dave Stern Show.
A live broadcast from Absolute Eyewear, 110%. Let's do it. They would fucking. They have parties there. We might as well just do it.
People walking in like, who are those 2 assholes? Why are they talking into mics? Like, good evening, everybody, from downtown.
With our Charles Oakley cutout.
Yes. Don't forget about Pine Tar Bar and Grill, 121 South Main Street, Forked River, New Jersey, 609-489-4286. And also Lisa Ruane, 201-725-1251. She's a therapist. If you're in a jam, give her a call. She'll help you out. That'll do it here from the Omni. Good show. Interesting, Jeff. Daredevil.
That's the man.
And Yankees are doing well. Knicks, we don't know. Hope Purdue wins the NCAA so I can brag to my family that I know the most about basketball. And what else? There was something else going on in the world. By the way, did you watch? You don't watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No, I don't.
Last night's
episode. Should. My father keeps telling me I got to
ask your father if he liked last night's episode. Laugh out loud. I literally had to like hit pause and like talk it over. All right, well, go do what you got to do.
Good night, everybody.
I got to go get my daughter. God bless America. We'll see you, everybody.
All right.